All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Allah, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. We want to give double honor to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who do really teach well. We want to give a peace and salutations to all you occupy there pushing this truth across the four winds so we can seal the elect and make it to the kingdom. All right? We are the Hebrew Israelites coming week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. All right? In the end of the world, Esau, Edom. All right?
Oh, precept. We said second Ezra 6 and 9. Second Ezra 6 and 9. 7. Yeah. This book is Second Ezra, chapter 7, verse 69, and reads, "And being judged, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions." He says,
we got next. Max says Shalom, Makim.
It's Second Ezra 6 and 7, and it reads, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?"
He's talking about the ages, all right? Because the end of the Gentiles is coming, the heathen, all right, their rulership is coming to an end. And ours is just beginning, okay? You know, but within that, there's a lot of things that's taking place, all right? Namely, the revealment on who the elect is, the elect of God, right? And we're about to know because all men's works are going to be tried by fire, all right? Affliction, tribulation, all of those things are set up so that the Lord, all right, can reveal his men, all right, the elect, okay? These times are going to get worse, all right, because there's a wave of righteousness coming that's about to get rid of the wicked in the world and their wicked philosophies, okay? Yeah.
It says, "And he said unto me, Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau."
Right. So this was set up, okay, because Jacob represents the 12 patriarchs and their descendants, all right, from Judah all the way down to Issachar, okay, which through the Spirit this was revealed, okay, and it's prophetic. 2 planks, all right, being put together, one for the northern kingdom, one for the southern kingdom, okay. We are following or been set up through prophecy, okay. So go ahead.
It says, "For Esau is the end of the world."
Right. And Esau represents, okay, the descendants of the so-called white man. All right. Their lineage goes back to Esau. Okay. Now, it's not dealing with all so-called white people, okay, because all so-called white people, a very small portion of them aren't Edomites. See? Okay. It goes back to the lineage, all right? But the point is that their time is coming to an end, and ours is about to begin.
That's right.
All right? But the scriptures say, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom.
It says, "And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth."
Right. The beginning of what? The world to come, the future world. All right? The kingdom of heaven. All right? Because this world, okay, is on its way out. This age that we live in It's on its way out. And just like previous empires prior to, this kingdom, like the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, all right, they all fell. But when they fell, the society imploded. Inside, okay, it was corrupted from the inside out. That's what's happening to this place, just as well as those kingdoms beforehand. All right. So one of the biggest things that was a sure sign was the decadence. People have no moral compass. People don't believe in God. All right. That was a sign of a fallen. Right now, this want to be a homosexual, anything against God's laws. All right, anything against the Most High's laws, you can do it. Okay, and then you should ask yourself, why did the flood happen? All right, why did Noah have to build the ark? Okay, it's like it's Genesis 6:4. Go ahead with your precepts.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 21. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. That we must through much tribulation enter the kingdom of the Most High.
Right. So much tribulation, which is going to be the end of this age. Now, here's 2nd Ezra 8. Who else? What else did I call for? We'll wait for that one. Called another one. Genesis 6:4. Okay? Because the reason why the flood happened, okay, is the same reason or the same things that they're doing today in America. All right? Or the Western civilization. We call it decadence. All right? People don't believe in God. All right? They're making laws against the laws of God. Hey, but Ronald Reagan told you that the Bible is America's book, right along with the other few presidents. So it sounds like hypocrisy to me. You got it. Genesis 6:4.
God, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 4, and it reads, there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in.
They speak about the Nephilim, all right? But it's not talking about the Nephilim, all right? The Paulium, which means the fallen, all right? Okay? They were renowned men, all right? And they fell from their state of glory, okay? And that's basically what happened. Okay, continue.
Says, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same came mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Right? That's what the volume goes into. Men of renown, the giants, men of renown. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And God said that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
Here's the point. Okay, because this is where we at again. Okay, go ahead.
Says, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Right. All right. Come back to that. Somebody get 2nd Ezra 8:51. So man's hearts is evil continually. Okay? And that's why the society is going to fall, and it's going to fall hard. All right? It says, thus with violence shall that great city, America, be cast down. All right? So there's going to be a lot of violence in the near future here in America. Don't shoot the message. It's just true. Okay? Go ahead.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 51. But understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee.
Right. Go ahead. 851. No, 850. Yeah, Salaki. That's my bad.
This book, Second Esdras, chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them, that the latter time shall dwell in the world.
Right, so there's going to be miseries done to the people. End up reading it. Take your time.
For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world.
Right, so there's going to be great miseries done to the people in the world, especially in these times. You see, they thought they can, forget God, make laws against God's laws, all right, and nothing's going to be done about it. Well, they're mistaken, okay? Because people are going to learn the hard way, okay? Starting with Esau, Edom. Well, no, I say it like this: starting with your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those are the Israelites that dispersed across the four corners of the earth, who are up under the curses. All right, who are under the astonishment of the curses. Okay, start with you. It's going to start with you, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that was an alarm going on, you see, because this is no joke. All right, somebody get second 16, starting at the third. Go ahead. Read it again.
The second Esdras, chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time, shall dwell in the world.
Right. A lot of people don't understand why this pandemic is happening the way it's happening. All right. Because all those numbers that they were putting on the news, all right, 200,000 here died, 300,000 here died, 90,000 here died. Well, those numbers are going to start existing. All right. We're going to see, all right, a lot of people die in this society. Okay. Thanks to the red horse. All right. Took peace from the earth. Okay. And the black horse, the plagues, and the pale horse. If I'm saying it right, the pale horse. Okay. Go ahead.
Because they have walked in great pride.
Right.
But understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory of thee.
Right. That's why we got the truth. Okay. We're seeking out the glory for those that be like us. That's the elect. Those that's in common or have all things in common or have none. Each other. Okay.
And it first began with at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
Right. So basically, I didn't mention the other nations. It starts with Israel, but it ends with the elite, the wicked elite. You see, and they're going to be taken and carted into slaves. Well, they're going to be slaves. Okay. All right. I know I'm jumping, but that's going to be the end of the heathen. So the time of the heathen is coming to an end. All right. And judgment is going to start at the house of the Lord, but it's going to end with the heathen nations. Right? Primarily, preeminently, Esau, Edom. Okay. All the heathen of the world is going to be judged by the Heavenly Father. All right. But now we're at the point where, again, we read the precept that we're entering into a new age, into a new future. Okay. But that great nation, okay, so there's oil into
beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he sat on him, had a pair. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Basically, the Lord is allowing the so-called white man to eliminate the population of the world. All right, because they want to bring in their new world order. All right, absent or eliminating God from everybody's minds. All right, eliminating God altogether, but they can't do that. All right.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. His name that sat on him was Death.
Right. Okay, that's what's coming. All right, and it's coming like it never came before. It's gonna come in the worst way. All right.
And hell followed him.
Right, and hell just represents again the grave. Okay, death again. So it's just reiterating what it says, or what it already said. Go ahead.
And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth,
right,
to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death,
right,
and with the beast of the earth.
I want you to read that again.
This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked and beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And he followed him, and the power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword,
right,
and with hunger,
right. That's the famine. Go ahead.
And with death,
yep,
and with the beast of the earth,
right.
And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar of souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh Shemashah.
That's the elect. Okay, those are those that passed on. All right, doing the will of the Heavenly Father. Okay, go ahead. What you got, Lloyd?
I have Revelation 12 and 12, and I had Revelation 6 too.
Come on, read it. Go ahead,
Start over at verse 8. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse.
No. 12.
12 and 12? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Yeah. So hey, that's Esau, Edom. All right. That's why they coming with such fierce. They're gonna come with a fierce force, so to speak. Okay, because the Lord has given them power. All right, to bring death and destruction upon the earth, and they're gonna do it. Okay, they're gonna do it. All right. Go ahead. Was that it? Was it 12 and 12?
Yeah, just 12 and 12.
You got something?
This is Baruch chapter 4 and 14. It says, let them that dwell about Zion come, and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters upon the everlasting and brought upon them, which the everlasting
Be remembered. You see, that's why the Lord is shifting the world in the way that He's shifting. All right, especially with this new pandemic, which is to shut down the whole world. Okay, because the Lord is about to shut down everybody's hopes and dreams and advancement within the society. Okay, go ahead.
It says, for he has brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity child. That's talking about Esau as well, man, because this is that man that the brother's talking about that's going to have no mercy when all this hell comes. The wrath that's going to be brought forth from Yahweh Shemashah is going to be displayed through Esau. And it's gonna, like the brother said, there's never been a time on the earth where you have ever seen this before. The Lord's gonna turn up his spirits and basically just bring out the whole raw wickedness in this man.
Yeah, he's showing you exactly what he's doing. Okay, he's committing the highest medical tyranny ever known to mankind. All right, ask yourself why they're not going to tell you about the side effects until 70 years, 55 years down the line, because it's an experiment. All right, and it goes back to the Revelation 6 and 4 on down. All right, the Lord has given them the sword, of course, for his own determination for this place. You see, the Lord is like that. He'll kill two birds with one stone. You see yourself on the sign? You see yourself on the sign? Right, you're an Israelite. All right, Yasha'Allah, which means Prince of God. Okay, that's your true nationality according to what God gave you, not what no institution or corporation America gave you. All right, those are proverbs and bywords that they gave our people because what? We were put into captivity because we disobeyed the Heavenly Father. Now, the Mexicans, those that's native to America, all right, were cast out of Israel, all right, a very, very long time ago. All right, y'all made y'all voyage over here to the Americas thousands of years ago. You see, but we were brothers, okay, the 12 tribes, all right. That's why we endure the same struggle under the same nemesis, Esau, Edom, okay. And now the Spirit is lifted up upon the Lord's men, all right, to tell you who you are, to wake you up, to bring the light in the world, all right? Say, you ask, how do we know who we are? According to what the Bible says, all right? Because the curses that we're under. We're supposed to be able to look at our condition, all right? And if the Bible specifies our condition, then that's how we identify, you see? So we're not Mexican, all right? Because Mexican is not really a true nationality. That is a proverb and a byword. Just like Puerto Rican, Port Rich, okay? These are all names that our enemies gave us, okay? We have to understand that the so-called white man and his power structure, all right, his establishment, all right, is an evil, wicked establishment. It's not for the good of the world. It's not for the good of the nation. They've been exploiting and they continue to exploit, all right, through mass media. All right, you got it.
This is Job 30 and 8. It says, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They will violate the earth, but now am I their song, yea, I am their byword.
Right, and they're base men because they're very primitive in nature. And you see that so-called way. That's why the world, you got all over the world, they're calling them the colonizer. Because what? He goes to other people's lands, he steals the resources, all right? He destabilizes the economies and ecosystems in different nations, all right? So he can exploit them and get whatever he can out of them. But the scriptures say that you're not supposed to remove a man from his landmark or remove the landmarks, all right? And that's what he has done. Look at the so-called white man in this establishment. I'm not talking about your everyday so-called white man. We're talking about the very elite. They know exactly who they are. All right? And their footprint, when you go through their history, all the details is rape, robbery, and murder. Okay?
It says, they abhor me, they flee far from me, and
they hate.
Yep. They flee far from me and spare not to spit in my face.
Right. And that's what they do. Okay? Now they built an establishment, and now they're hoping that they can erase their history so they can dupe people into believing that we're all one race. Okay? Well, that wasn't the case 100 years ago. All right? They say that's the only swindle the populace to get them to go with whatever new grandeur ideals that they have for their new utopia. All right? Which the Lord, the New World Order, is going to be abolished at its very peak. We're very close. But the scripture says when he goes to fill his belly, then he shall be cast down, or some to the extent of that. You know? So the point is, you can flip it back around. It's Marco shot. The point is that now it's high time to wake out of sleep. Somebody get that. They won't let you go on your way. But you're an Israelite. Yasha'Allah, Prince with God. All right? You're not Mexican. name Issachar is Yeshashakar or Salak. How do you say it? Yeshashkar, the Hebrew word, all right, which means he is higher. All right, he is higher. All right, go ahead, my bad. Go.
He is higher. No, because you ever notice how our people are, man. What the brother is letting you know, man, is through the identification of these certain people. Through the scriptures, we're able to discern who they are because they have certain attributes to them that allows you to know who they are. Like the so-called Mexicans, man, he is hired. What does that sound like? He's always the one to be hired on work, on jobs. He'll do any job for anything, man, for anyone. So,
And it shows y'all have a lot of resilience. We're just talking about that. So let it get to Genesis 49. All right, that's good. You got it?
I saw this precept. Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1, and it reads, "Keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, consulted against thy hidden ones."
that consultation is war. Right? They're making a commotion of war against these people right here, but also the whole world, but mainly these people on the side. Because, go ahead.
They have said, "Come and let us cut off from being a nation."
Right, and it's not, go ahead. I was just saying that you made a comment about Esau, man, about the elites. But if you look at the average Edomite too, you can bring that hate and that behavior out of them as well. They all Edomites act the same way, man. They all have that hate for us, and they learned it from the forefather Esau, man. They held on. That scripture, they held on. How does it go? They can't y'all held on that.
Now the thing is, we have to identify for our enemies. We can't be naive. The everyday so-called white person, and not all so-called white people are Edomites. Not all so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans are Israelites. Right? You got a small portion of them that are actually Edomites. Okay, it has nothing to do with skin color. We always have to make that claim. Okay, it's all about your spirit, what your lineage goes back to. Now, somebody please get Genesis 49:15. Because he needs to learn about himself. Go ahead. 49:15. Where it says Issachar.
He was trying to finish the house.
Well, he's going to have to hold that. Genesis 49.
I get it. This is Genesis chapter 49 and 14. It says, Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens.
Right. Now, a strong ass is what? It shows resilience. You can't break it. All right? The so-called Mexican spirit, they show a lot of resilience and a lot of strength and a lot of endurance. And they couch between two burdens. All right, and those two burdens is what? America and their own home, which is Mexico, because it's hell in Mexico. It's the third biggest. I think it's the third biggest city in the world. Okay, in the world. All right. It is the most. They're the most oppressed by their own because of what? The so-called white man's establishment, his structure. All right, because he came in to stabilize the economics. All right, and he's destabilized the government, so the people won't be able to thrive together. And that's what this devil does. Go ahead.
It says Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens, and he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Okay, well, yeah, so it says, and he saw that the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear. Well, again, that goes to the whole being a servant. Well, it said it's become the servant unto tribute. Who was it? What was it? The conquistador came over, hurting that tribe, man. They bowed themselves unto tribute so that they wouldn't be slaughtered. So, but that land that was good, Mexico is beautiful, right? So that's how you know it's a pleasant land.
Yeah. Oranges, what else? What else?
But just the land, man. If you ever go down to Mexico, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Even as destroyed as it is, because of what Esau did, what the so-called white man did, it's still a beautiful place. It's a place where people go to have a still. So, but but even the whole burden issue and everything, you got even like a lot of this car down in like South America. That's another great burden between yeah, because you got like the main one, Cuba. You can't even go from America to Cuba because of the clash, the tensions that they have. So that's a burden. Those are the two burdens. Mexico's right in between it. So, yeah.
Like that great rest, it says what? Rest?
Yep.
Okay. Mexicans call what they got what they call, I forget exactly what it's called. But when you guys work, all right, you rest, I guess it's like an hour, it's just a dispensational term or something like that, where you guys rest. I forget exactly what it's called. The siesta. All right, and that's good. Okay. We are understanding we are biblically according to what God says, not what the institution says, not what anything else says. Now, again, 2 Ezra 69. So we can understand what time we live in. We live in the end time. So,
Just read this to prove it. Genesis 49 says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
right, he was talking about his descendants, 12 patriarchs and their descendants. All right, we're the closest blood. We're what they would say the closest blood relatives to the world. Who they call Jesus Christ, but his name is Yahushua, meaning all right, and they call him Jesus Christ because his real name is Yahushua Hamashiach, the Messiah. All right.
It says that this is just to prove we are the closest. It says, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons.
So-called black. Right? He has a dark.
It says, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob and Israel your father. That's just more of a title on it. Like you are a child of the Lord, man. You're a Hebrew Israelite.
Who is the tongue? Tongue. Like Yasha'Allah is Prince of God. You're Prince of God. Or Son of God. No, you go ahead. Go ahead. You're free. We just had to. Yeah, no problem.
It's the book of 2 Ezra.
Right. At the time where the Lord has risen us up, at this point, we are beyond being sabotaged. You can't sabotage this, all right? Because your end is here. We represent the end, all right? That's why we're grievous to behold. You see? And that's why you're moving at the pace that you're moving at, all right? With all the evil and wicked things that you're doing, which you're allowed to do, all right? You're just not allowed to touch the elect. You see? You can get the whole world, or you can go after anybody in the world, but the elect are going to be protected from your tyranny. Go ahead.
2 Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. So out with the old, in with the new. Okay. Good.
The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand.
Right. So that's symbolic for us pulling down the foundation of our enemy. Through what? Through the spirit, the mouth of the Heavenly Father, his words, his oracles, his signs.
Other question, Esdras, asked thou not. I answered then and said, O Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, that bears rule, if I have found favor in thy sight.
All right. So high time to wake out of sleep. If y'all got something, just go ahead and read it.
I got something. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, and verse 17. And it reads, this matter
is by the decree of the watchers, and by the demand of by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Right. Now, the key point here is that the Lord, Yahweh, ruleth. He rules in the kingdom of men, and he give it to whosoever he will. I guess Rock 10 and 8. Okay? Go ahead.
And setteth up over it the basis of men.
Right. He set up over the basis of men. All right? Meaning the really lowly scumbags of the earth, which is the so-called white men. He saw Peter. Okay? So you know who he's talking about. Because this ain't no made-up character. All right? We see them on a daily basis. We see their descendants on a daily basis. All right? We see the perpetual hatred on a daily basis. Okay?
This is Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And the brother spoke about the brother spoke about the Lord. He's the one that gives the power over into the men. You know, and who's ruling right now? Esau Edom. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. How did he do that? Through angels. Through our Messiah, Yahweh Shai, as you can see here, you know, putting himself on the level of the Most High. They call himself the Most High.
Yeah. Put himself up. Yeah, exactly like you said. Now he's the everlasting God, you know, which is blasphemy. Okay, that's just one of the offenses one of many offenses that Esau has done. Okay. But the point, the wicked rule the earth. We don't rule the earth. We don't have multi-trillion-dollar corporations steal resources from the earth, and who, basically destroy landmarks and destroy ecosystems. Okay, we don't do that. That's the so-called white man's hegemony, his society, his establishment.
Showing his power, though, how he's trying to police the world. You see him in every other country. What's the scripture? He doesn't stay. What is it? He doesn't keep. You gotta keep it at home. Yeah. He's going around everywhere.
His desire is as hell.
Yeah.
Sirach 10 and 8.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Now, we just read James 4:17. It's the Lord ruling in the kingdom. He set it up whatsoever he wants. He will. All right? Read that again.
Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right. And this has been going on for forever. Right? The kingdom of heaven suffers violence. The violent take it by force. Okay, that's the heathen. All right, sacking our temples at one point. Okay. All right. Coming, putting us in slavery. Okay. Coming to the Americas, displacing and destroying whole communities, killing millions and millions of people, women, children. All right. And we're told to forget. We're told to look past it. Okay. We're told to look towards this new fucked up world that they got set up, this new world order. The hell with, you know. Okay. So this devil's gonna pay. All right, and that's what's happening. The Lord is Isaiah 14:9. The Lord is making an end to this devil, man. All right, and he's gonna make an end to you niggas as well. so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who do not want to obey, all right, the Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay? The ones that despise Yahweh Shai. Okay, you're gonna be judged as well. All right? And we hope, we pray that we are not gonna be judged. Okay? We hope that we can continue and walk in the stead of Yahweh Shai. All right? Go through those afflictions so that we may be healed. All right? So that we can bring forth fruit meet for repentance. You know? You got it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 9. He said 9, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee.
Right. To meet thee at thy coming. What's this coming? All right. His new world establishment. Okay. Okay. Because when he reaches a certain point, a certain height within his planning, whatever, all right, the Lord is going, he's going to disannul his plans. By what? Bringing this man into war. Okay. He's going to spread his army, his military thin, which is happening now. Okay. Right now, the biggest talk is Ukraine. All right. Russia invading Ukraine and the U.S., you know, having to protect, you know, the Ukraine. You got Taiwan. Any others? All right. There's plenty more. Okay. Syria. All right. Any more? Anybody? None? Okay. Well, let's go ahead.
Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Right. Read it again.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth.
Right. That's the king, the chief ones of the earth are the different leaders of these different superpowers. All right. And they're the heathen. Okay. From Ishmael. All right. To Moab. Okay. To Ammon. All right. To Elam, especially Elam. You can't forget about Elam. Okay. And these nations are being woken up to being raised up against this devil. Why? Because the prophecy has to come to pass that he shall be greatly despised. All right, he shall be made small among the heathen and greatly despised. Okay, go ahead.
It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we?
Right, because on the way out, this place on the way out, all right, it's being made weak. America is being made weak. Okay? So at one point, they were destroying and doing all sorts of things in the earth. Okay, and they had the nations in subjection. But now the Lord has made this place weak. Okay? And now he's raising up the other kings of the earth, the heathen, to come against the top heathen, which is Esau, Edom. Okay?
All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy bowels. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
Right. And that's talking about corruption. The worms eat flesh, right? The body decomposes. And that's likened unto this kingdom. It's decomposing from the inside out. That's why you have decadence and immoral activity happening at an all-time high. You think these people care? Hell no. As long as they can keep their job and their comfort, they don't give a damn about what's happening to the world and what's going to happen to the world. See? But the Lord is about to shake up everybody. You see? You thought the pandemic didn't have nothing to do with you, and you could be safe and hide from it, or you got another thing coming. Okay? Because this is a means to an end. All right? And Esau's going to ride this wave until he crashes. You got it.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Talking about Lucifer, light bearer, Illuminati. Okay? Because they point themselves as self-appointed, the self-appointed leaders of the world, not self-appointed, the Lord put them there. But they call themselves the Illuminati, the light bearers. All right? Light dealing with what? The truth, wisdom, all those,
Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High.
Right. A lot of people think this is mythology, mythical. It's not mythical. It's not mythology. All right. It's not fantasy. This is an actual man, and it's a whole establishment that's geared to taking over the world, forcing everybody, bending everybody to their will through what now is the medical field. Okay. Call it medical apartheid or medical tyranny. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right, read it again.
Isaiah 14 and 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
Right, because he exalted himself, all right, and trying to appoint himself as a God, all right, and that he's the ruler, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, okay. He has the land of Israel in his possession. He has the people of Israel in his possession. All right, the children of Israel, I should say, okay, and he has that God complex, as they say. You see, where he thinks he can make laws against God's laws, the universal law. All right, and that he can bring in his new way of living, his standard. All right, which that's all about to be done away with. All right, that's why we see a constant, steady fall of this place. All right, go ahead.
That would go into his technology too, right? Yeah. Like his artificial intelligence, satellites, stuff like that. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Right.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
Right. Hell meaning the grave. All right, the grave. Okay, that's what hell represents. All right, go ahead.
To the sides of the pit.
Right, and when it's basically saying that Esau's going to lose everything. All right, he's going to lose nationality, nationhood, all of that. They're not going to be a nation anymore as far as being established as a nation.
Right, because we see the downfall of our enemy. Downfall of our enemy. Also rejoicing. We should be rejoicing the downfall of this place. Anyway.
Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
Read it again.
Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider these saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
It says man. It didn't say mythical creature. All right. It didn't say anything magical. Okay. It didn't say none of that. It didn't say anything mythical, anything like that. It says a man. All right. And that man is Esau Edom and his establishment. Okay. Got it.
Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners.
Right. A mythical creature didn't do that. All right. A mythical creature did not bomb Hiroshima, Nagasaki. All right. That was an actual man. Okay. And the man that made that bomb, his last name is Oppenheimer. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So his name is Oppenheimer, an actual man that made that bomb. All right. So we're talking about men here. We're not talking about mythical creatures or the spiritual demon Satan. All right. We're not talking about that. We're talking about an actual man, and that's what the scriptures is pointing to. All right. For those who have an ear, let them hear. All right. Cat's out the bag. The truth is in the air. Yep, that's right. His sins being exposed for being a devil. Go ahead.
Verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house.
Right? Because that's what's going to happen when the oppressor, colonizer, whatever you want to call him, just call him Edom or out of woman. Right? Whenever he ceases to exist, everything is going to go back to normal. All right? In the nation, all right, they're going to go back to normal. But there's a big but. Okay, they gotta endure slavery. All right, and that's 1,000 years worth of that. That's plenty of time. That's plenty of time for retribution and recompense. All right, that's plenty of time to sit and think. You know, that's how Esau do Jacob. You know, give you 50, 60 years. Hey, you sit and think about what you did. Well, you got 1,000 years to think. You see? You're gonna know all the details of your treachery. Yeah.
Verse 19, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
That's how Esau's gonna be. Okay? They're gonna be dead as a nation. All right, they're not going to be a nation anymore as far as the structure. Okay, they're going to fall as a people, and they're going to be under curses. You see that? It's like we have fallen. We under curses. Well, they're going to endure the same thing, but double. You see? Go ahead.
Verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Right, you'll never be renowned. So we don't care how many lofty gifts to the earth and all these monuments that you made. That's over with. Okay? You gotta pay. The piper. Go ahead.
Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Yep. And hey, read it again.
Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Right. So there's a lot of individuals say, you know, my people didn't have slaves or look, you're gonna go down. There's a whole nation. Get Isaiah 10 and 7. Okay, just like we went down as a whole nation, our kings, our priests, everyone was went into captivity. All right, from the greatest to the least, or the least to the greatest of us, and that's what's going to happen to Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen. All right, pure captivity. All right, it's crazy because you notice all the heathen. The irony of this, all the heathen come together and they bang on us, just one nation, 12 tribes, all right? But now it's going to be flipped. We're going to bang on them and have them in servitude, all right? And feed off their swords, in a sense, okay? It's a lot of nations, man. Got it?
God. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Right. So you're not going to possess anything. You see, you go into these rural parts of America, you see Edomites, they got farmland, they got all sorts of land, they got thousands of acres of land, all right? And they're living, they living it up, okay? But it's going to come to a point where they're not going to have anything in possession, all right? All their possessions are going to be taken away. The only thing they're going to possess is a plot or lot of a trench, all right? Somewhere deep in the mud. Okay.
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Yep. That's what's coming to, all right, Great Babylon, all right, the daughter of Babylon, okay, which is America, or the whole Western civilization. How do you want to say? Isaiah 10:7.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse.
Isaiah 10:7. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither does his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few.
Hey, so the Lord is in the business. That's big business right there. He's in the business of cutting off whole nations, not a few. You see? All right? And that's what you jakes that say, oh, well, remnant of the Edomites could be saved. You know? You're servitude, they're going to be indentures. Serve. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Okay? That ain't happening to us. All right? All of us. Smallest to greatest. So it's going to be the same for Edom.
Yeah, I got something. This is Daniel. Where's it? This is Daniel. This is pertaining to the other nations. This is Daniel 2:32. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Okay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. So that's Yahushua. That's Yahushua breaking the nations down. All right. Remember, he's called Kings of Kings, Lord of Lords, man. All right. So the image of gold, which is what? Babylon. All right. You got the brass. You got the silver. This is the different nations, man. All right. It goes to the iron and the clay. Here you go, right here. So let me read that again. This is Daniel 2:32. This image head was of fine gold, all right, and his breast and his arms of silver. Okay, who's silver? Medo Persians. His belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands. That's Yahushua. And which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. And this is where we at now. In Yahushua, that stone is going to come and take down all the nations, man. All right? That's what's about to happen. Yahushua is about to come and destroy the nations, man. All right. It says, then was the iron and the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together. It became like chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Woo! All right. So great judgment is going to come to the other nations, man. All right.
Watch.
You misuse the prophets, the men, the Israelites, rape, rob, and murder. When you go into Lazarus, you have the dog that licked the sores. All right, you grab that. Get that on deck.
16.
Luke 16. Okay. And then on top of that, the Lord is getting now the men of the Lord, the prophets. He's gonna the children of the Most High. He's gonna make them joint heirs with him. So guess what? He's gonna give us the authority to help partake in destroying the nations. You got something, Sean?
Yeah, I'm seeing this over quick. This is Revelations 19 and 12. It says his eyes were as flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
That's it. See, the Lord is coming to take the nations. He's coming to take the kingdoms. Okay? Go ahead.
And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Uh-huh.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
Yep.
Yeah. And his name is called the Word of the Most High.
That's right. All right. That blood is representing the slaughter that's about to take place, man. All right. That's the judgment of the other nations, man. You know? Got something else?
Oh, that's
Got something? Go ahead, get it.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 19.
Wait, you know what? Hold that. Get jump to Psalms 2. Yeah, get Psalms 2. Start from verse 1.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Yep.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying.
See, they take a counsel against the children of Israel. Okay? Talk about the other nations. That's who that anointed is. Go ahead.
Saying, let us break their bands asunder.
Yep.
And cast away their cords from us.
You know how they do it? They'll call it a climate something.
Yeah.
Or climate change. Because they got the way they go about it in a very wicked, subtle way too.
Go ahead.
Verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh.
Because hey, the scriptures tells you how the Lord sees all things, man. You know? So the Lord is laughing at Esau and the other nations, man. Because they think that they're gonna bring on this utopia. Okay? This new world order. And don't get it twisted, all the nations is in on the new world order, man. All the nations is in on this new world order. Okay? Go ahead.
And
that new world order has nothing to do with you Negroes, Latinos, okay? Those are the tribes. You have nothing to do with the new world order. Go ahead.
Psalm 2 and 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision.
Yep.
Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure.
Yeah, so the Lord shall have them in derision. Okay, derision is a perplexity mind state. Derision. Okay, go ahead. Because see, the Lord got this devil in the trick bag. Remember, he hardened Pharaoh's heart just to show the power that he had to take him down. And that's what the Lord is doing to these, beginning with Esau, Edom, who's the so-called white man. He has him in a derision. Okay? Go ahead.
Psalm chapter 2 and verse 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee.
Let's talk about Yahweh, man. That's the king. Okay? That's the only begotten son. Now, what's going to happen with the only begotten son? Go ahead.
Verse 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. So that's why the Lord's going to come and smoke that stone, and he's going to go to the feet of it, because we're at the feet of the clay, strong, the weak nations, and this, that, and the third. We're at the feet of these things, and Yahweh Shah is going to come, and he's going to tackle on. He's going to finish destroying this place.
Yeah, he's going to get rid of the heathen. Well, none of the heathen is going to rule. It's the end of all the Gentiles.
Yeah, exactly. This is the end of all Gentiles ruling. You see? Since you said that, Lamont, get what's that in no. It says until the Gentiles be fulfilled. Until the Gentiles be fulfilled. Get that. Because they're an authority, and specifically those so-called Jews, Amalek, the 1948ers, the small head people. You got it.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
They're speaking about Israel, right? Okay, after 70 AD, who was taken, okay, fled. Okay, after 70 AD, we were slaughtered. All right, Masada. And then what happened was this is going into what is known as the Jewish diaspora. All right, or the diaspora, which is the scattering of the Israelites. So go ahead, read it from the beginning.
Luke 21
They
and
call
24.
it the Jewish diaspora. We're not, they ain't Jewish. All right, go ahead.
Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Right.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Yeah, so Jerusalem shall be trodden under the Gentiles into the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's when the Lord is going to take down the nations, and he's going to put us back into our homeland. We're at that point now. We're slowly approaching that point where the Lord is going to restore the children of Israel, and he's going to set them in their own land. As Jeremiah the 30th chapter states, as Isaiah 14 states. Okay? Until, and get Jeremiah 30 and 1. Until the fulfillment of the Gentiles come in.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. He said verse 1.
Yep.
From 1.
Yep.
In verse 1, the word came to Jeremiah from the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord, the power of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in the book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel.
See, it's going to be a day where the Lord is going to bring the captivity of his people, Israel, which is the Black, Latino, and Native Americans, okay, back into the homeland. That's until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Until their time is up, okay? See, you only have a small time period to take over the Holy Land, okay? That's why it set the prophesy against Mount Seir, face to face with Mount Seir. Because they said, aha, remember what's that, Ezekiel 35? Okay? Hold that. Somebody grab that. Ezekiel, you want to get it?
Just start 1 or 4.
Verse 3, For lo, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord. and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave their fathers, and they shall possess it.
See that? That was the promise that going all the way back to Abraham. See? He was promised the land of Canaan, which his seed shall dwell in. All right? And it came, and it happened where he gave it under what Malachi, Hawashai and Caleb, which was Joshua and Caleb. Okay, when we entered into the land of Canaan, and we took down other nations, man. All right, and that's the land that was promised unto us. And then we were taken out of our homeland, and now the Lord is going to replace us back into the homeland. Okay, hold that. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 36 and 1. It says, "Also thou son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel, and say, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy hath said against you, aha, even in the ancient high places are ours in possession."
See, the ancient high places is ours in possession. That's talking about Israel. See, the ancient high places is talking about the land of Israel. See, they always wanted the land of Israel. That's why Edom, which was Herod, all right, his father Antipater, okay, they snuck their greasy asses in there, man. All right, because they looked like Israelites, and they snuck in there by that way, by that faction. Yeah, the tares among the wheat. That's why Yahushua was brought out that parable. Yep.
It says, "Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen."
See, and were we not a possession? Was it not something called Judicata? Okay, it was a coin minted in the Roman Empire, Judicata, which means Judah captured, man. So we was a possession unto Esau. See?
It says that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen,
Right?
and you are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people.
Yep.
Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord power. Thus saith the Lord power to the mountains and into the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea.
Against all Idumea. Who is the Idumeans? Okay? The Idumeans are the so-called white man, which is the Edomites, man. Idumea. Okay? And if I'm not mistaken, that's Greek. Idumea goes back to the Greeks. It tells you that hold on, in the classical biblical baby names book, okay, they tell you who the Idumeans go back to, right? I'm gonna pull it up. Go ahead and read that out and break it down.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, finish reading.
Okay, yes. So again, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. Because again, like brother talked about, it was these other nations always wanted Israel. These other nations, man, they're carnal. All right, they see everything as a physical thing. They think if they got the land, they'd get the blessings. every time these other nations ever came to trample on Israel, the first thing they ransacked was the temple.
Yeah.
And they believed stepping in the temple gave them some type of power.
Yeah.
So that's why they would always cut off the connections or the valuables or sentimental trinkets of Israel, like the temples, certain ceremonies we have, because there's even a point when who was it, Nicanor? There was a time where he wanted to have a victory celebration over Julius Maccabeus, and Israel came to him and was like, "Old king, do not destroy so beautifully on this day, on a holy day, the Sabbath, Shabbat."
Yep.
And so what happened was Nicanor, it said, with exceeding pride, said, "For I am a man on earth mighty. There is no one with me." Basically, he said, "There there may be a God in heaven, but I'm a mighty man on earth.
Yeah.
These other nations don't these other nations don't care, man. So
Well, that was the spirit of Goliath. Goliath did the same thing. And what happened to him? And what happened to Goliath, man? Okay? He thought he was a power. He thought, well, he was a god on earth. Shit, Goliath was big as hell. And he was kicking their ass too. He was kicking everybody's ass. Yeah, and Israel was afraid. Yeah. Until the Lord had the spirit on David to knock that nigga down, man.
well, it says also that when they had appointed their land into the possessions, you had that done through the Balfour Declaration, right? And basically, you look at the whole grand scheme of that entire that document. Literally, it was, all right, you know what? We're going to make a bill or write a piece of paper that's going to say you are now the true Jews.
You are now, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and you got, it's the other things they had to do in order to do it. But
they always tried to get that land because before the Balfour Declaration was what 1958, right? 1958, right? 48, 1948. Okay, but before that, you got to go back to the 1800s. All right. And remember, this is during the time of the Reconstruction era, right? And it was the mid 1800s. The industrial the industrial revolution, yeah, but it was beginning to build up a lot of things. And what they did was under one of the Rothschilds, okay, I can't think of his name, but he funded Elias. Okay, he funded Elias to go into the land of Israel, man, to reconstruct it. Okay, and that's where you had the those wars breaking out with Ishmael and Esau, man. Okay, because they came in and they actually came and took the land. All right.
I'm skilled.
That could be him if he was in sitting up there in the late 1800s. First, second, third Aliyah. I believe it's 4 Aliyahs, which was the flight. All right, the flights that was from not Germany. I think it was something from Germany, but they called it the Operation Mockingbird. Right? The Operation Mockingbird. If I'm not mistaken, you can look it up. Fact check. All right, and they sent them over there. Oh, Yemenites, Yemenite Jews from Yemen. Okay, and they airlifted them. It was a secret operation. This is in the 1800s, before the Balfour Declaration. Okay, so when you speed it up to 1948 with the Balfour Declaration, and then you had the civil rights movements and all those things, with to start to get the world to feel sorry for the fucking because World War I. Okay, to feel sorry for those gutter rats. They even used well, we finna come on Black History Month. They even used Martin Luther for Queen. Okay, they used him.
That's how the I Have a Dream speech came about. King didn't write it himself. Amalek helped him write this.
Yeah, and it was really for the aiding of. See, they used the civil rights movement. Okay, now they put it to Jake as if it was, because we needed civil rights. We were humans, this, that, and the third. But it was underlining for other nations, man, and specifically the so-called Jews. Okay, to get over there, man. They're roosting. Yep.
King.
Yeah.
They actually spoke in Israel. They took a trip to Israel, speaking on behalf
On behalf of them. Yep.
And they was basically confirming that they was the children of God and all this other stuff. I forget exactly what document, but it's an actual video that showed.
Hey, and you got pictures of King and Coretta Scott with the Jews, with them big nose people, and they could have persuaded him and lied to him, and this is to help your people, but I need you to help us do this too. Jake got bewitched, and you can know that he got bewitched because after that he started to speak out against him, and they blew his hair off.
Since civil rights was the Trojan horse for the nation to come bring their ass in there too.
Yep.
So going back to Ezekiel 36:6, it says, "Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame."
That's it, man. So they always wanted the Holy Land, you know, because like the brother said, they think that since they're in that Holy Land, that the blessings will be bestowed upon them. You know, they can get their birthright back. You know, yeah. And then even once you made mention of them always taking the temple down, when they had to take the temple down, reason being of getting into the land and trying to sack the temple is because that was our connection. That was our connection to the Most High. You know, and within the holies of holies, we sacrifice, and the Lord will forgive us for our sins, and we'll be whooping the nation's ass, man. So they had to figure out how could we not get them to worship the Lord anymore. They take the temple down and sacrifice pig, and you know the rest of the story. Abomination does make it desolate, you know. So there was always a way to try to get Jake corrupt, so they could get the promises. And part of that was them trying to get into the Holy Land, so we wouldn't know who we were, you know. But going back into Idumea real quick. This is from classical biblical baby names under the name Esau. Okay. I'm gonna just get to the point. It says the family of Esau. Edom is identified with Rome and Germany and other places in Europe. Rome was ruled by Caesars who are referred to in denigration in the Talmud because they were homosexual or bisexual and because they were not hereditary. The sages said that these dukes, and remember, only where in the scriptures they speak about dukes, which is under the sons of Esau, man. The dukes of Edom. All right? Right, they had the dukes of Hazzard with some weird ass crackers in the goddamn woods.
It's a ghetto boy. Never mean no harm.
Fuck out of here. And the dukes of Hazzard. It was Esau. It says, were the local rulers of different principalities who ruled during their lifetime but did not necessarily pass their rulership onto their children. They were also assorted with homosexual tendencies.
Well, that's what they would do. That's what Edom would do when they would call us into the temples. They would put up their sacrifices. They would actually indulge in orgies in the temple.
Yeah.
There were certain times that when Judas Maccabeus talked about it.
It says Jewish identity in the early rabbinic writings. Whereas in the Bible, Esau is no more than the ancestor and founder of the small kingdom of Edom, Idumea. By the rabbinic period, he is identified as the ancestor of Romans, so-called white men. All right? Or as the founder of the city, Rome is thus referred to as Kingdom of Esau, son of Esau, Esau, kingdom of Esau, and Edom, Tal Court. The Romans themselves are said to identify with Esau. Exactly. They did identify with the name Esau. Okay? And then they switched it up. And they called themselves, then they stuck to Romans because it was Romans and then it was the Edomites. But the Edomites were the fucking Romans, man. They always tried to hide up under another name, man. And this is why the tares of the wheat, okay? Because Antipater, which was the father of Herod, all right, he laid with an Israelite woman, all right? She was Jake, right?
Yes.
Cleopatra. It was a woman around that time named Cleopatra. I know she was a Jake woman. Well, fuck the bitch name, but Antipater laid down with the Israelite woman, okay, and had Herod, and Herod looked like Jake.
Yeah.
He looked like a Jake. That's why they called him the King of the Jews. See, that was the way of them slithering their ass up into Israel, man. Okay? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
He was dark. He was dark. They showed a picture of him. They got a picture of Esau. I mean, they got a picture of that nigga. Herod. There you go, right there. That's Herod. Right? Yeah, that's Herod right there. Like a G. Yeah. So that's one of the ways that they got into the Holy Land, man. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is to show. This is just to show that Idumea is still Esau. This is Ezekiel 35:15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate on Mount Seir and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Those words, those two names are interchangeable.
I can appreciate that.
Just like when you see other, like you hear words when the Lord speaks, or he addresses nations, like a good one, Israel, he'll say, "Oh thou Jacob, yet hear me, Israel," but it's still talking about it's interchangeable.
Yep. Now, real quick, this is Genesis 36:8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. 32:3, Genesis, and Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom.
There you go.
All right, so Esau, Edom, Seir, Idumea, all those go hand in hand with the so-called white man. All right, and that's who they are. All right, so what you got? Yep, go ahead.
This book, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 4. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Bashemashai spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman.
Okay, that's it. Go to Isaiah 14. Because we're coming back, we're going back to the Holy Land, man. Right. Okay? And somebody get on deck where it said that how we're gonna flee up out of here as we get out of Egypt. What's that? Jeremiah 16. Yeah, Jeremiah 16 and 14. Yeah, that's it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Yep.
And set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob.
Right, man. All right, you see that it says and set them in their own land. Okay, because that land that was given was the land of Canaan, which is today Jerusalem or Israel. That's the land. You see, he's going to set us in our own land. Okay?
That's why it's over there.
Yeah, we're not going to get flown over there. Okay? You know? Well, we're gonna get flown over there by the chariots. Okay?
Not no spirit jet.
Yeah. But they probably didn't even have a spirit back then. Whatever aircraft, okay? Okay? And then on top of that, it tells you that it won't be any war anymore. Isaiah 2, somebody hold that on there. Isaiah 2 and 1. So go ahead and read that again for the time.
This book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh Shemashai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Yep.
And set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob.
That's right.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in their land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Ooh, see? Servants and handmaids, the possession, man. So y'all gonna be our slaves, nigga.
And they shall take them captives,
Uh-huh.
whose captives they were.
Right. Worried about a dog. We say, worried about a dog catching your ass. All right? So now them shackles is going to be put on Esau, man.
And
But the Lord is going to do it. That's the thing. We have no might. See, the Lord is going to do it. We don't have any might, man. You know? It ain't that many. See, where we going to get the handcuffs from, man? You know what I'm saying? Where we going to get them handcuffs from, man? When a Babylon going to be destroyed, man. See, we going to have those spiritual powers, man. You know? That's how we're going to take them captive. Through spiritual powers, man. Under the authority of Yahweh.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And then we're going to rule over our oppressors, man. We're not ruling over our oppressors. 41, see? Yep.
And it shall come to
Hey, somebody look up that word rule. We're going to rule over our oppressors, man. Y'all ruled over us. Put us in slavery. We got to fucking work. You know? For little to nothing. You got to pay taxes. You got to pay a fucking phone bill, electrical goddamn bill, a goddamn water bill, a property tax, a fucking mortgage. You know? Go ahead. Rule.
The word rule means to tread down, subjugate, specifically to crumble off, to have dominion, prevail against, reign.
Reign. See? We're going to reign over the nations, man. Beginning with the so-called white man and the fucking white woman. And the little white babies.
It's also to scrape out.
Yeah.
Scrape out?
Scrape out.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what we're going to get, man. Y'all received it. Y'all received the children of Israel on a fucking platter.
Best of the best.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's back in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in that day, the Lord shall give rest. It's like he shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
Yeah, man. It's going to be rest. We're going to be in rest, man. All right? Peace, harmony.
And from thy fear, and from thy
I mean, like, what the fuck do y'all expect? Like, you think you're gonna get away from rape, robbing, murdering the children of Israel, man? Okay, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 10 and 8. So injuries, riches, got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people into another.
That's what we started off.
So we in the transitioning stages, man. Translating stages, man. First beginning with speaking it out of our mouth, the spirit of the Lord, man. All right, and then it's gonna actually come into play. Go ahead.
and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou hast made to serve.
Yeah, we was in bondage. Hard bondage. You wasn't nothing light. All right? I mean, technically, you can do what the fuck you want to do with your slaves, right? So that's what Esau did. He did what the fuck he wanted to do with us. Hard bondage, man. You know how much cotton weighs? Let's get into hard bondage mindset, right? Do you know how much a cotton weighs? You know they had to get fucking pounds of cotton? You know cotton don't weigh a little bit to shit? Somebody let's see what estimated what would cotton weigh.
I got it.
Equivalent. But you had to put that shit on a scale and you had to weigh that shit. So how much cotton was we fucking picking?
I was in Alabama. Those fields are huge. Those fields are very vast. Big cotton fields. Alabama.
And cotton picking wasn't fucking easy because when you pick the fucking cotton, you get pricked and get blood all over your goddamn hands because you're getting poked. And you had to separate the fucking cotton from the needles, okay? And then you'll come out with about like this fucking much. That's hard bondage, man. You got a precept? Go ahead. And then you got, if you can look up what was cotton weight, man.
This is Psalms 50 and 20. It says, Psalms 50 and 20 says, thou sittest and speakest
That's
against.
why you fucking you damn devils adding in replacement theology. Okay? Or it's called supersessionism. Is when you're adding all the nations into the blessings from the covenant. You adding all the other nations into the covenant. It's called supersessionism or replacement theology. Okay? Because Esau knows that he has great judgment coming.
I got the fabric cotton fabric weight classification, right? Weight, ounce, YZ. 2.5 ounce, very light.
A 2.5 ounces.
Very light. Light as hell, like that.
It's like 2.5 ounces ain't shit. It's probably lighter than that.
Lighter than that.
It's way lighter than that.
Yeah.
You got something?
Because I was gonna say, you said 2.5,
Right.
And 16 ounces makes 1 pound. So they had 2.5. So they were doing that, but like divide that down, that's 8.
Right.
And they had to get on average like 500 pounds.
500 pounds.
Yeah, and they cotton made up 60% of the world's economy. That's 60% of the world's economy.
It's a lot of cotton, nigga.
That's a lot of rich people that was getting money, and that 60% that was spread throughout the whole world.
What movie was that? Was that 12 Years a Slave?
They showed like how they was had to be quarters.
Yeah, they had to be deported. Yeah.
We're not even talking about sugar cane.
Yeah, the sugar cane factory. Yeah, a bit. The Yum Yum had to deal with that.
Yeah.
You got something?
Yeah, back to Psalms 50 and 20. It says, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
Yeah, because nothing had, no judgment took place. Nothing happened. Y'all, look, y'all was whooping our ass for 400 motherfucking years straight, but nothing happened to you. You niggas was dying of old age, having a good ass fucking life, leaving it to your children. Think about 400 years. 100 years, that's 3 generations of you motherfuckers, man. 100 years is like 3 generations, maybe even 4.
Wait, 100 years? 10. Because the generation, what, 10 years? Or what?
No, generation is 40 to 30 years, 30 to 40 years. That's a generation. Think about our generation, you know.
Well, that's how they do it.
Yeah, 30 to 40. So that's about 3.5 generations, you know. So it'd be my grandfather, my father, me, and my son. That's a 100-year span right there. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta add in the children. You know, you can have 3 kids, 4 kids, whatever, how many kids. So all that wealth is being distributed. You know, then they have their kids, and it's being distributed even more. For 400 years of that, man. And now today, a lot of you crackers is reaping the benefits of that, man. Because on top of that, y'all got stipends because you bitches didn't want to let us fucking go. And you got stipends for each slave you had. And some plantations had 150 fucking slaves, 200 slaves. Now even 50 slaves would suffice for you to still be rich, man.
That's when the auction blocks came into play. There was baby slaves, man.
But that's after.
That's after.
That's after. I mean, that's before. I mean, the auction was before. The stipends that you was getting was after the Emancipation Proclamation when Esau didn't want to let us go. So they had to pay them damn crackers off for each fucking slave.
It says, these things I saw done, and I kept silence.
That's why when you go to high school and shit like that, like in Wisconsin, some of these family owners and shit, their great grandfathers were slave fucking owners, man. That's why you always see all the goddamn white boys and white bitches always got all the good cars and shit. They gotta sell drugs to get all that shit. You know, unless they found in some boule shit, you know. But for the most part, a lot of you white boys and white girls, y'all had the money. Shit, believe me, I know I was in a match with you motherfuckers back in fucking high school.
And what you did after like you illegalized slavery and shit, you set this financial difference in the assets of what you owned. So like
Theodore Roosevelt did that.
it was ridiculous, man. An average Edomite assets would have been worth like $200,000, but a top, a wealthy black man at the time, or what you would call as wealthy as you can get, shit only amounted to like almost only $20,000. They set a very big gap in the wealth.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt did that.
They sabotaged us from
Yep.
Yeah,
sabotage
because
us from work.
Yep, because coming out of slavery, we had it like the 20s, the 30s, Tulsa, I mean, and then Theodore came in what? What year Theodore came in? What year? The 30s, right?
33.
33, Roosevelt.
Yep.
Right?
His,
And that's how that big bridge gap of wealth had started through him. I forgot some of the names of the laws and shit like that he had passed. I can't think of it right now, but I know he was a big part of bridging that gap.
He also took the gold standard out, which made it worse.
Yep.
It says, these things I saw done, and I kept silence.
Eddie.
Now thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Right. Hey, he gonna set them in order before our eyes, man. See that? The Lord's gonna line this devil up right in front of our eyes, man.
Here, this is Psalm chapter 52, and verse 6. It says, the righteous also shall see and fear and shall laugh at him.
That's right. The righteous also shall see and fear and laugh at him.
Yep. It says, lo, and they shall laugh at him and say, lo, this is the man that made not the Most High's strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches and strengthened himself in his wickedness.
Yep, that's Esau, man.
But going back to Psalms 50:22, it says, now consider this, ye that forget the Most High, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver.
Right.
And then right here it says, whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright, will I shew the salvation of the Most High. Right. And that's what we're doing. We're speaking the right things, setting it back in order, let you know that you are devil, and you were never even supposed to be like this. You stole all this.
It's through, it's through our transgression, that you it's capitalized. But what you did was you poured the affliction, right? You kept us down by the witchcraft, the sorcery, and things of that nature. So guess what, man? At the end of the day, judgment is going to happen to you, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, you got it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Hey, we're going to read that again.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
So that's the northern and the southern kingdom. How we oppressed together. You had the northern kingdom was enslaved first. Okay? And then they came and got us, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Okay, and we were oppressed together. They showed you that in 20 years of slavery. But when Theodore, whatever his name was, Solomon walking through the woods, he seen Gad. Or it could have been Reuben. They seen him, they stared at each other, and then they made merry with one another and rejoiced, and then they had to go back to slavery. Yep. And they showed that you fucking devils. They showed that we linked up, we partied with one another, and then we went off back into the servitude. That's crazy. That's a lesson right there.
It says the children of Judah the children of Israel and the children of Judah will oppress together.
Yeah.
And all that took them captives held them fast.
Yep.
They refused to let them go. It says,
Yeah, you had something called the Trail of Tears. You know, where they set up, and I believe this was right before Thanksgiving. Okay, when they called them out of their homes and they slaughtered the elderly men. All right, and the women, and they had the majority of the children and kids walk the Trail of Tears, man, all the way to fucking Canada, man.
it says, but the Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause.
Yeah, he's gonna thoroughly plead our cause, man. And this is the beginning stage of pleading our cause by sending out the prophets to prophesy the downfall of this place. This is the beginning of pleading the cause, man.
It says he shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. It says, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon our princes.
Yeah, that sword is a representation of judgment. So judgment is going to come. Okay?
And upon our wise men, a sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon our mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people.
Yeah, you think you finna get these robots and make these man versus machine, and we was just watching that. The motherfuckers cold too.
Yeah, they cold.
But the man ain't gonna kick that motherfucker in the ass.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, them robots, man, them robots are something serious.
Hey, I'm opposed to too.
But see, you're using carnal means to fight something spiritual. Dummy.
It's the reason why
Esau really ain't that fucking smart.
ain't that bright.
You're really not that bright, bro. You're really not. You're really not that bright, bro.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
You're so dumb.
You are so dumb. You are so dumb.
So dumb records.
So dumb records, man. You are so dumb. Like, them damn robots ain't gonna do a fuck to the angels, man. Like, you didn't think that shit through, bro. You didn't really think this shit through.
They say angels destroy cities.
Come on, man. Angels can destroy the whole fucking city.
Shit, one angel can fuck everything.
Destroy the whole world.
Come on, man.
One angel.
Y'all know those stories, man.
And the Lord had to tell the angel stop because he would.
Yeah. Can they go back commandment? Kill? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, Shalom.
Yeah. No emotion. Angels don't got emotion.
Give me a minute.
Tear this motherfucker up, man.
Well, actually, Job talked about certain forces, which, you know, you talked about death and hell. He said that when death and hell were addressed by the Lord, they would say, "Here am I."
Yeah.
You know, like shit.
Yeah.
It says, but again, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women.
As women. Okay? Faithless. They got no hope.
It said,
Weak. Fragile. Tender. As women, man.
It says, a sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. It says, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beasts of the deserts with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever.
Yeah, because that's going to be destruction. Okay, and we're leading up to that. Okay, we're leading up to that. You see the commotions. The scriptures speak about there's going to be commotions in the earth. You know, those commotions is the disagreements between the nations. Okay, the uproars, and eventually a war is going to break out. Now, and this is why we're here to prophesy about those things from the past.
Jeremiah speak unto the land of Babylon, send a destroying wind.
Yep, destroying wind, man.
It says, and it shall be no more inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Lord.
Yeah, and how did he do that? So you got to pay attention to the wording. Like he did Sodom and Gomorrah. What did the Lord do to Sodom and Gomorrah? He basically, well, he destroyed it with fire, okay? But it was through a thermonuclear, it was basically through a thermonuclear explosion from the heavens, man. See, the Lord did that back in the ancient world. No machinery. He gave the technology to the devil, the smith. I blow up the coal. Let's say I am the smith that blew up the coal. Yeah, get that. Isaiah 54:16. See, the Lord is in control of these things, man.
Isn't Ezekiel say, I have given the glittering sword to the
Glittering sword.
Yeah, to the waster in Ezekiel. I think you referred to it by accident earlier.
Yeah, a glittering sword. Hey, like imagine, you know, I was watching a documentary, and Esau he was breaking that shit down. He said, now what could you basically now you're getting information or dreams, right? Let's say Jeremiah had a dream, right? And the only way, now remember, the dreams are future prophecies. Okay? These times, this era. So all in his mind that he's seen a missile, but all he could internalize it and comprehend it to be as a sword, glittering. See?
The purpose of the sword.
To destroy. Yeah. He's not seeing a glitter. It's like a glittering sword. Okay, of destruction. But it was really it was a missile.
It says Ezekiel 21:9 says, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he had given it to me.
It is furbished, right? It is perfected. It had advanced. Okay? And sharpened. When you go into it, I forgot the Hebrew word of it, but it basically goes into it began to get advanced. Okay? Now, it went from the gun, brought a sword, on arrows, you know, tomahawks, slingshots. This is all a part of the sword, right? A weapon, an instrument to destroy, you know, to kill. They transitioned, they got it up to what is known as the gravity bomb, transitioned to the laser bomb, you know. Then it got to the atomic bomb. You know, then it became a nuclear bomb. Now they got the SS-30, 3000 nuclear missile, goddamn.
Hey, well, it says they contemn the rod. The word contemn means to entirely disregard.
Yeah.
So this weapon don't give a fuck where you at. It's gonna take you out.
Yeah.
And then what we just talked about just now, now they got the robots and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got the drones. Now they making these little cyborgs now.
Yep. But this
Yeah. I'm just elaborating what you're saying.
Verse 11 says, and he had given it to be furbished that it may be handled.
Yep.
This sword is sharpened,
right?
And it is furbished.
Hey, that nuke is perfected now. They perfected the nuclear missile. Now they're building up different guns, you know. What's called latitude, longitude, which is a RFID, radio detection, radar, texting and ranging, man. So they're trying to get the perfect distance. Now they got it though. Now they have it. Now they have the perfect radar. They know within 25 minutes this motherfucker can get him. Now they used to do it from the atmosphere and bring it on down, but now they have something called the hydro something. I was looking it up, but instead they cut the fucking time. Instead of going up and down, they gonna have it go fucking straight here. Remember Russia said?
Russia got that, yeah.
They ain't playing no fucking games, man. The Lord ain't playing. He want this bitch destroyed, man.
15 minutes.
Right. Pinpoint.
You heard what man's Putin just said. We'll know within seconds the trajectory where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And they won't have time to repent. Because God's coming right back to them.
That's it. So he's like, and we're gonna go out, and it's called MAD, Mutual Assorted Destruction. Look it up. It's called MAD. MADD. Okay? That means if it's a nuclear war, we all fucking die.
But it says a sword is sharpened and it is fervent to give it into the hand of the slayer.
Yeah, yeah.
I got
Yeah, go ahead.
this is Joel chapter 2, verse 3. It says, a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burning. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap.
The horses, they make a lot of noise.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a
Yeah. You can feel the ground rumble.
yeah, you're gonna feel that.
It says, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face, the people shall be much pain.
As a, they say a people. As a, like as, simile.
Like an army. They're gonna be an army, they're gonna be a symbol.
Right.
It says, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war.
So the missiles gonna be out here. They gonna climb the wall like, man, what? They heat for your ass.
Have a barbecue session.
He did say
Sacrifice and violence.
Should come down on my people. People curse my Idumea.
Idumea. Once again, this place gonna get destroyed.
It says, they shall run like mighty men.
Yep.
They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
They ain't gonna break their ranks, man. Ain't nothing going, no defense. See, when this shit gets, when it gets shut off, no defense mechanism is gonna stop it. Because guess what? The angels is gonna be riding on that motherfucker.
Tracking.
Yeah, it's gonna make sure. See?
What was that in the second episode? 16, we're talking about the order shot an arrow. Turn
Yeah,
it back
16.
into
Who can turn it? Yep. Who can turn it back? Now, can you throw can you shoot an arrow to the end of the earth?
Nope.
Come on, man. Use your brain.
Squeeze that noodle. Cogitate. It says, neither shall one thrust another.
Only thing you do that is a missile, man. Only thing can be shot from one end to the earth is a missile. No fucking boy, an arrow, no nothing. A missile. Spear. Yeah, spear. You think a nigga's gonna throw a spear all the way to the end of the earth?
Oh, motherfucker. A glittering spear. Glittering spear is the missile.
It's a missile, man.
the best way he can explain.
They also call them arrows in the scriptures, man. Yeah, arrow.
That's the military call.
The military, it was they call it a broken arrow, which is he lost the missile or something like that. You know, broken arrow, which meaning goes back to the nuclear missiles.
It says, neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk everyone in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run